Hello, everyone. New patch notes. New patch notes. I was looking at the skins. I think it's the last one of the season, most likely. Hopefully, it's a good patch notes to round things out. They're gonna finish the year and bring us up to the new season. Now, a lot of these skins look fine. I'm not really worried about skins, but this. I said this every single time. A plush has the best goddamn skins in the game. This shit, I haven't seen it in game, but just looks fucking awesome. Anyways, let's go down. What's this? This is the release update schedule, so we'll get this on December 13th. It's a Smite adventure, so there's another adventure. We haven't had that in a while. Oh, is it like the one where you run around and you kill shit? Or is this like a different thing? It looks cool. So let's see what this is. Odin has hired 5 teams of 2 to defeat the Herald of Ragnarok to face off. Okay, so it's like a 5 2v2v2v2 or whatever it looks like. 10 players, 5 teams of 2. Okay, so it's just a different type of experience. Alright, this seems fine. Let me, is it this one? Is it this side? I always forget. Let me zoom out here. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder, I'm assuming these are like the minions, where the minions pop out. This is where you spawn. This is the fountain. Seems odd. Seems very odd. I don't know exactly what this is going to be, and I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. I also think that this is probably a test for the new season. I think some of these things are probably going to be used in the new season. Kind of like there's a new symbol here, there's a new symbol looks like here. This is a new type of probably like the jungle, the fire giant or whatever in this. I think that these are probably going to be used in the next season. It's probably a good way to test certain things, which I'm down with. I'm down to test things and see how it would work for the future, especially because Smite is a MOBA that could last forever or die at any moment. And I sure hope it doesn't. What the fuck? There's also a thing down here. What? There's like a final boss fight somewhere hidden? Does it come out of the cut? Does it float around? What the fuck? That's weird. Okay, but either way. Game flow, players will initially spawn. Okay, yeah, normal thing. Final norms. I'm not gonna read through everything. I'm just gonna skim through this. Okay, these are band gods that have issues. So Afro, Claude, Yorm, Giannis. I think Giannis is probably because of all the walls. Way because of her passive. Morgan. Weird. Heimdall probably because of the 3. And then Persephone. Yeah, Afro's weird. I wonder what technical issues or clear gameplay makes Afro. I would assume like so Cleo, Giannis, Jingwei, and Heimdall is all based on their movement. Like the walls probably has a lot of issues. Or probably didn't want to code her for every single fucking wall in the game, and I completely understand that, because holy shit, look at how many fucking walls there are. Giannis, again, the same thing. Look how many walls they'll have to code through. Like, dude, fuck that for something that's going to be limited time. Jingwei, the passive, just flying around, or when it's going to stop, or probably because she'll fly out and be over here instantly, is probably just a horrible type of aspect for the game. And then Heimdall, his passive as well, the way, or his 3 probably makes him go pretty far and stuff. And now the other ones, on the other hand, I don't understand the Afro one. The Jormungandr one's a little weird, but I guess we'll see it. We'll probably understand why the more we play it. Again, it's also based off clear gameplay, so maybe the rest were based on how they clear. They're a little too fast, and they didn't want to balance them for this limited time event, which wouldn't make any sense. So just taking them out completely is perfectly fine, considering that there's like 120 gods in the game. Not having like 8 of them, or 8, right? Yeah, 8. Yeah, 8. I can count. 8 of them is probably not that big of a deal. These are banned items. Hog probably makes a lot of sense. Eye of the Jungle because of all the camps. All the eyes are pretty good. Teleport, yeah, dude, fuck a bitch named Teleport. There's 3 teleports. Teleport Fragment, Greater Teleport, Heroic Teleport, and Persistent Teleport. Oh, because I guess, like, the Relic, because there's, like, the... Okay, never mind. I'm dumb. I forget that there's that second one in the middle. That's just Teleport to me, just with a lower cooldown. All jungle buffs stack each other. So all jungle buffs have a buff holder that drops a single buff. Okay. Marked objective norms on the waypoint. There's the blue circle outline around the camp. These must be slain in order to the next round. Okay. Heal orbs, like assault. Valkyrie fountains. I'm assuming that's the normal fountain, but these move. You do not recover health here. These move throughout the map. Okay, is that what these are? Is that what these are? Or is that what, like, these little things are? I don't know exactly, but they move throughout the map, and what exactly do they do? You recover mana and can shop at them. Okay, so you just don't get health from them. That makes sense. The mana recovery is a little weird. Again, I don't know how exactly the gameplay is. But if you can recover full mana from it, that's a little odd. So getting things like blue buff, if there is a blue buff on here. Oh, there's no blue buff. Okay. There's no blue buff. That makes sense. I'm assuming these are the shop things. Yeah, so there's no blue buff. Yeah, okay. Dynamic respawns. Respawns grant temporary invulnerability. Once you leave the fountain, you are spawned. Okay, so you're invincible for 10 seconds. Okay. Guess we'll see how that works. I guess so you can't get spawn camped. That makes sense. Because there's no, like, Titan or Phoenixes to cover your thing. Global healing reduction. That's, like, normal. All the normal camps. They look about the same. Yeah. Okay. Except for yellow is actually a buff. Yellow is a buff instead of a speed. I don't see a yellow buff. Is this yellow? Okay, whatever. I don't know. This is weird. This is too much for my brain. Dragon scale buff. Capture the trophy. Bruh, what am I reading? Okay, either way, I think this is something that going over in words is a lot harder to kind of do. We could just see when it comes out. It seems cool. Like, I'm down to try shit out. This is the event. These are skins. Smite Knight, I don't care about that. Bug fixes are important, which I go over on my own time. So I don't really need to do that because a lot of it's just like specific things. Okay, so this is the Odin's Onslaught, and then Unlimited Conquest Ranked. This is an experimental mode running for 1 week. Ranked jousts would be temporarily disabled during the experiment. Interesting. This queue will be ranked conquest, but allowed for players to play in parties of any size? What? Your queue will inherit your ranked conquest progress and TP and MMR toward future ranked contests played in solo and duo queue only. This queue will be on an especially long timer, expected to only fire 3 times per day. Okay. Well, never mind. I don't think I'll be trying that at all. Damn, that seemed really cool. I mean, I guess because like it's a temporary thing, and they have to try and figure out the way to make it work. And you don't want to put it in the normal queue because it would be really annoying to have a bunch of solos going against a full team. You know. Um, but I think that concept is cool. It just sucks that it probably won't work out. Either way, SWC Conquest World Smite World Championship. uh, You know, the normal thing that they do, having all the character, have all the teams, and make it look a little more presentable. Perfectly fine. The prep on her buff, I think that's a good thing because on her's a little weak right now. Ao Kuang buff, I just don't like this character being good, but he is not in a great spot right now, so fine. Kukulkan buff or Kukulkan buff. I don't really see why. I feel like he's always fine, but sure. Hebo buff, he's in a bad spot right now, so that's perfectly fine. Heimdall, I sure. I mean, I don't think he needs one, but fuck it, I guess. Yorm, Yorm is interesting because considering that people are going like full damage guardians in like solo and support and maybe even sometimes a mid. Jormungandr is one of those that's actually really good at doing that, and the fact that they're buffing him is a little odd, but sure. Um, Neith, yeah, I mean I think Neith is, considering how the rest of the people play is weird. Tiamat, she's just a weird god that doesn't really fit in most scenarios unless you're super good with her. And Tsukiyomi, I don't think Tsukiyomi needs a buff. That's just absolutely fucking ridiculous. Warrior jungle nerf. Um, okay, so they're gonna try and nerf warrior jungles. Mannequin scepter nerf, so they're gonna try and get rid of mannequins. Try and nerf mannequins a bit, dude. Mannequins, ever since they added that shit into the game, it's been the most broken fucking thing. Um, Probably one of the most nerfed starter items in the game ever since its release. And then Maui buff. I don't think we should touch Maui yet, personally. I think we should wait a little bit and see how he plays out through the rest of this season and then just kind of the start of the new season. I think he should just kind of stay where he is because we don't know how he will be in the next season. But that's fine. And a Ymir shift. This scares me because Ymir is a god that is perfectly fine where he's at now, and really you have to be good to play him consistently at a high level, and at a low level you can still do fine, and he's not too punishing. But he also has a lot of very obvious, I can't even think of the word, disadvantages, right? But the one crazy thing that I'm seeing here is that out of all these gods, right, there's no Serket change. Considering Serket is like one of the weakest gods in the game right now. No Bastet changes, considering she's also one of the most weakest assassins in the game right now. No Bakasura changes, considering that Bakasura is again one of the weakest he's ever been right now. And some of you are probably like, Bakasura, what are you talking about? That man shit stomps. Yeah, that's all he fucking does. He doesn't do anything relevant other than just shit on people who don't know how to play the game. Once you learn how to play the game, you don't lose to Bakasura. Same thing with Arachne, but Arachne at least has some stuff that that makes her a little fine. Even though I personally think that she just needs to be re-kit, just because I think that she can have a cooler kit, but that's besides the point. Noah plush buffs, which doesn't, I don't think he needs them, but I feel like he should get some, at least some little bit of hits. No, Anubis, like there's so many characters that they could buff, but they just don't. And then even like nerfs, there's no nerfs. Where's, like, they haven't said anything about nerfs. Lancelot, Gilgamesh, even though they just buffed Gilgamesh, even though he's not being used a lot in that book. But let's be honest, Gilgamesh is fucking strong, right? Like there's a couple other ones too. I think Scylla's being really popular right now. I don't think Scylla needs a nerf, but she's good right now. Well, there's another mage, Hades. I don't think Hades is all that great either. I think once you learn how to play against him, he's perfectly fine to deal with. But the problem is that people just don't know how to fight him. Same concept as I said earlier about Bakasura and Arachne, but that's besides the point. Either way, let's get down here. So, mannequins. Wow, that is fucking huge. I'm not even gonna read that because you guys can read. You guys have eyes. Holy shit. That is a lot. That is a lot. That's a lot. I mean, look, I think this item's fucking stupid. I think it's super fucking strong. And it's been like that. The fact that it's constantly just been nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed for 2 years now, I think. Since this has been added into the game. Like, it is stupid. Now, dropping the base damage to 8 and then also dropping the scaling by half as well is insane. Now, the minion damage is still fine, so that means like jungle-based stuff, where you're playing this in the jungle, which probably is the use for it. You're doing more damage to the jungle camps and the minions. Even though the minion damage, they had to nerf that before because it ran lane, um, but it's still good as a clear option. But for a poke option, they're making it weaker, which is a good idea, right? Like, this is a stronger bluestone with auto attacks that consistently stacks. Um, that like resets itself or something like that. I don't know if it stacks or if it resets after each hit. I think it resets after each hit, and if it doesn't, then it should. But either way, it's super fucking strong, and I see why people are kind of going this more auto attack based stuff. And I don't think that this is specifically to nerf warriors in the jungle. It's set up there. I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief. I don't think warriors in the jungle are the ones running it in the stuff that I've experienced. I've seen Sylvanas go stupid with this fucking pick, and it's been not fun to go against. But yeah, besides the point, on her, small buff to on her and make his leap go down per cooldown on each increase, each pip, perfectly fine. Decrease in mana cost and cooldown of the 3. This is a good change. This is pretty much irrelevant. And here's the thing. You're going to say you're going to buff a god. You're going to buff characters. And then you just do something like this. This, to me, isn't really a buff. Doesn't change the impact of the game almost at all. Like, oh no, it's 5. Like, oh yay, it's 5 less fucking mana to use this ability that comes up every fucking 5 seconds when I have cooldown. It doesn't matter. You're still using this. You're still using this ability enough where it's gonna be the same. It's pretty much the same minion or the same mana cost. Like, what the fuck does it matter? But, anyways, this is fine though. I think that the 1 second off the cooldown, perfectly fine. Good call in. Decent amount of damage buff on both forms. Looks like it's 10. This is fine. I think this will do his clear a little bit better in the early game, and then just kind of make his burst damage a little bit better throughout. I think this is more important for the early game than the late game. And then looks like it's the same for this, but this goes up 10. Yeah, so it goes 10, 25? No, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So, okay. They pretty much made it go up by 10, and then 15, then 20, then 25, then 30. I think that's actually a decent buff, especially for his late game. So this will help him for his early game and just kind of do fine towards his mid and late game. This, though, will make his ultimate feel much more impactful throughout the entire game. Perfectly fine. It does suck because this ability does hit twice, and I don't think he really needed a buff to begin with. Again, we're buffing people who don't really need it. Like, we constantly adjust Cucullin in this, like, let's keep him in the meta when he's, like, even not that great. Like, this is a character that's been in almost every single meta since his release. It's fine for him to not be in a meta, right? Versus someone like Guan Yu, who's rarely in metas nowadays, or Odin, who barely gets in metas, versus Guan Yu's actually pretty solid right now. But Odin, that's another story. Like, some characters just don't get the love. Like, when was the last time you seen Anubis in a meta? Never. Why doesn't he get any change? Right? When was the last time you seen Serket in a meta? Since the tank assassin meta in, like, fucking season 5, right? And then that small little stitch she had where her true damage was super fucking strong in like I think season 7 or 6, but even though they were close to each other. But then you haven't seen her since, especially because she got like a rekit after that, because she was so weak. Like we're we're changing characters and buffing characters that are always kind of in the game, so it makes the game still feel the same because we're not changing the characters that need to get changed. Hebo. Now this is a character that is in and out of metas at good times. He's in metas and he's pretty popular. But then he falls out due to some nerfs or just maybe the meta doesn't fit him. But he doesn't really get changed overall because he doesn't need it. He just kind of fits where the meta is. Versus, again, some characters, no matter what the meta is, they just fucking suck. His base movement speed increase. And then, okay, I said all that shit, and then this doesn't, like, how the fuck is this making Hebo any better? Like, the movement speed, though, the movement speed is fine. The movement speed is fine. It's only 5, but whatever. Oh, yeah, he gets 5 more health per level. Okay. Anyways, again, Heimdall is a character where we buff for no reason. He's perfectly fine where he is. I don't know why we're buffing him versus other hunters, but it's fine. Like, okay. His late game is still the same, but his early game moving up gets a little bit stronger. So this is actually a fine buff. Considering I just talk shit, but this is a fine buff. It's not bad, especially because it's 20 damage at level 1. That's really fucking good at level 1. You normally get to 3 at level 1, but when you first get this ability at pip 1, like, that 20 extra damage is pretty hefty. Jormungandr. Okay, so it starts at 15 now instead of 16, and then it goes down per level. This is actually pretty solid for the 1. Makes you be able to place him down more, makes him have a little more poke. It's fine. And the 3, or not 3, the 2 going down 1 second is very similar. Since this gets placed down more often in the pools, being able to explode with the pools more consistently, or not even more consistently, just faster. So that way you're getting your damage off. Perfectly fine. I think these are fine. These are fine. I think this is probably the best change so far. Considering that I think Jormungandr could do really well in this meta if given the time. But, I don't know. I don't particularly know. Now, Maui. A lot of changes to Maui. So he increases base damage of his 1. It looks like it's the same at level 1. And then at 1 pip, 2 pips it's up by 5 damage, whoop-de-frickin' do. And then 10 damage at 3, 15 damage. Yeah. No, wait, hold up, I'm tripping. What the fuck? Okay, 5 damage, 10 damage. Okay, I thought it was gonna be 15. Is that 25? It goes from 240 to 310? Versus here it went from 230 to 285. Why does this seem like such a huger jump to me? Am I... Can I not do math in my head? This is like a 25... No. Either way... Huh? I don't like this. At all. I don't... And it's only 20 at 8. There's no way that's a 15 change. 85, 90. Yeah, no, that's 25. I'm not actually tripping. That's 25. From 285 to 310, that's 25. And then it's a 20 at the end. Coming from... What the fuck? That is the weirdest change. Whatever. Okay. Alright, sure. The range of this ability when at 0 charge is from 4 units to 25. So it instantly starts like a quarter way through now. I think that's a little whack. I think that's a little too far. I guess we'll have to see how much 25 units is on the game in the UI. But I think having it charge up, I thought that was cool. It created like time to wait and do stuff, kind of like Athena, how you don't just dash instantly, you have to charge it and then dash. I think it created a good little balance. If you were gonna buff it, you could at least start at like 10. I think 25 is a little far, but oh well. We'll see. And then decrease the time it takes to reach, so it's a little faster by 0.4 milliseconds. So instead of it being 1.4 seconds, it's 1 second. So it's a whip that lasts a little longer. The hook whip thing, you can grab, reel them in. Fine, makes it a little easier to hit, but again, they put a skill ability in the game that's hard to hit, that has like a charge that's pretty slow, where you have to time things properly, and then half the fucking community, if not half, over like 80% of the community can't hit the fucking ability because it's so hard to hit. They're like, well, let's just make it easier. Let's just make it faster, so that way we can cater to the people who are bad at the game. Fuck you. Let the ability be hard to hit, and if people can actually hit the ability and do good with it, they're fucking good, and they deserve it. It's really shitty when people have like these really easy abilities. They pick these really easy ability gods, and then they just shit on people because they don't have to fucking try. At least with Maui's one, you had to try to hit the ability. It's not like with Kukulkan's one where Kukulkan's one where you just fucking throw it and it hits people. Vamana's 2 where you just throw it and it hits people. There's no real way to dodge those abilities. If they're throwing it out, it hits you. Okay, I just went on a little rant, but that's besides the point. Okay, movement speed. I actually really like the puddle, even though I don't really understand it. I think this is fine. I think out of all the things to buff Maui, even though I do think the one was his worst ability because it was the hardest one to hit, but mastering it made it a pretty solid ability. Um, I do think that this ability probably needed the buff the most because it feels weird to use. I think the cooldown on it is really fucking fast. Holy shit, you can almost have this shit up forever. But I think it's definitely one of his most underrated abilities. And I don't mind the buff. This is like, it's kind of like it's like a Ares 2 that goes with where you put it instead of like with Maui, right? And then it also gives movement speed instead of the HP 5, but the protection buff is the same thing. Neath. 1 second on Unravel, perfectly fine. I think that ability is cool. This ability will now pass through player-made walls. Didn't it not already do that? Am I tripping? I swear to God I backflipped over an Odin wall the other day. I'm not even kidding. Maybe it got broken as I went to backflip, but I swear to God I thought I did that. And I swear I thought I backflipped past the Ymir wall too. And a Thor wall. I thought you literally backflipped. Okay, maybe it didn't and I'm just tripping, but I swear to God I thought it did that. There's so many fucking characters in this game, so who knows. Isn't this a revert from like a couple patches ago? This 100 seems very familiar. Or maybe it was like 90 and then 100 at the end that I've seen before. But this damage, first off, there needs to be a space here. No? Okay. Fuck me, I guess. But this is fine. It's just a little bit more damage. I don't think this will change. Like, it's just like, oh, it's a buff, but you're not really buffing much. Like, they like I'm fine with the small buffs that change the game a bit. I'm perfectly fine with that. But like it doesn't feel like a buff to me. I think like the problem with Tiamat, the biggest problem with Tiamat is not the one on her mage form. The one on her mage form, the main reason people can't get the damage off is just because people can't hit the ability. It shoots a couple things. It has a charge. You know, the range is, and the range and the width of the ability is quite small compared to most abilities in the game. So it has a bit of a skill associated with it. Because of that, it's a little harder to hit. So hitting every single hit is a little more rewarding, and you can really do a lot of burst damage with it. But changing it so then that way it's like you don't have to hit as much and you'll actually be useful is so dumb because you're rewarding people who don't know how to play the character properly. Yes, certain characters, especially like Tiamat, take a lot of time and practice to really get good with. She has like 20 fucking abilities. Holy shit, she is a loaded fucking character that's pretty fucking good when you learn it and practice. But giving her buffs that really are unnecessary, you don't need it. You don't need it. Just take the time to learn her. You'll actually do fine and do really well. But with that being said, I don't think this will change her overall. The people who play her will still play her. The people who didn't play her will not play her. Point blank, period. Character that doesn't need to get buffed, let's buff them. The 2 is the 2. Yeah, this is the 2. 10 damage, and then 10 scaling. I have nothing to say about this. I fucking hate Tsukiyomi. Um, I don't know why they're buffing him. I don't think he's bad at all. And if you think he's bad, you're fucking weird. This character is strong. Holy shit. Especially in this warrior, or not warrior, this solo weird meta where you can play anything in fucking solo lane and just kind of dominate people. People are putting like full fucking damage, or like these weird hybrid fucking builds in the jungle or in solo lane. It's kind of going more tanky, but you know who does that really fucking well? This guy. This fucking character right here. This fucking guy. And they're buffing him. Okay. A shift. A Ymir shift. This is just a buff. What are you shifting? Is this a meme? This is a joke. This has to be a joke. Yeah, no, this is a 1000. I'm taking this as a joke. I don't think they're serious. I think this is 100% a joke because they always make the weird jokes with Ymir. I think this is just a joke. This is a Ymir buff. There's nothing a shift about this. It lasts longer, a little bit longer. Well, it doesn't. Never mind. Holy shit, wait a second. It actually lasts longer earlier, and then it gets nerfed later. So people who are maxing the wall out first, like people like Raffer, back in the day, well, actually, okay, never mind. Maybe this is a shift. Holy shit. This is actually crazy. Holy shit, never mind, I was trolling. That's crazy. What the fuck? 13? Okay, never mind. You know what, this is fine. I'm perfectly fine with this. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I think it is kind of, because it isn't really a nerf, but it isn't really a buff. It's a buff in the early game, but a nerf in the late game, and that to me considers a shift. Yeah. So you know what? I apologize for being an asshole. That is a shift. Either way, overall, my thoughts and opinions on this particular buff or this particular patch before the World Championships. Um, I not a big fan. Um, I think they probably took a lot of their time trying to do this uh, adventure thing, which is perfectly fine to kind of hold people over for the new season. So they didn't want to change too much, and I get that. You shouldn't need to change too much overall. But I think the changes that they did do just weren't really that impactful. You don't want to change too much for the world championships because it's gonna make teams have to play the game completely different. So you want to make sure they keep their same stuff. That's fine. I get that. So like slight changes and small buffs, perfectly fine. So overall for Pro League, this is a very good buff, good change. But for the rest of the community, I think that it doesn't really do anything for us, right? We don't have anything other than the new adventure mode. And again, that's perfectly fine. But the one thing I really fucking wish I saw throughout this entire change, this entire thing, was some nerfs to some really strong characters. And they could have just been slight nerfs. Just slight nerfs. Like, Thor is so fucking good. Like, oh my god, that character is so fucking good. Lancelot is so fucking good. Holy shit, that character is fucking good. Why are they not getting nerfed? At least a little bit. So that way they don't just completely dominate at Worlds. Those two characters, maybe not Lancelot as much for most teams, but Thor will probably be 100% picked and banned. Guaranteed. Because that character is the best character in the game currently. And if you don't agree, you are honestly so dumb and you don't know how to play the game. Like, it's ridiculous. This character, or that character, is so fucking strong. He just needs a little bit, and it doesn't have to be. It didn't even have to be like a major nerf. It could have been something small like this for a buff wise. Could just been like increase the cooldown of the 2 by 1 second per level. Something, right? Like something. But yeah, either way, I feel like it's fine. I think this is probably the most important change throughout the entire uh, patch for pro play. I don't think the rest of these really do too much for pro play, like at all. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief, I don't think anybody's fucking playing Hebo. Um, I personally don't think you're gonna see most players play Neath in the pro league. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think you're gonna see anyone use Tiamat, maybe except for like Paul, because Paul plays weird fucking characters. Or Pagan, like they fucking run set mid, which I don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get it. But yeah, either way, that's the patch. I hope you guys enjoyed. Um, yeah, hopefully the new season and this uh, Odin's Onslaught will be really fun because I feel like the next month and a half for ranked and just the game in general isn't going to be as fun. So I'm probably going to play a lot more Apex. So see ya.